Welcome to the 2022 Epic Network Conference Technical Assistance session for speakers and moderators. My name is Marshall Curry. I'm the program manager at EpicN, and I'm joined by Ada Inman, the program support coordinator. We're helping put this great event together. And today our goal is to help get all of our speakers and moderators the information they need to feel comfortable for the event. And if we don't have answers, or if we're saying things that aren't making you comfortable, we'll have a few more days to try and respond to provide that those responses that do make you comfortable. We're going to run through the following agenda. I'm just gonna introduce EpicN, where you can find general EpicN information, and some of that has changed, even for those of you who have been around the network for a while. We're constantly moving things and updating things to try and make it easier for members. So we're going to showcase a little bit of that, but really quickly, we'll talk about Zoom and how we're going to use Zoom during the conference. So you all as presenters and speakers and moderators can feel comfortable with the options available to you to engage your audience and or just participate and present. And then we'll also talk about Whova, which is our conference software that we use, and make sure that you each have access to it as you need. So that way the day of, you're not scrambling to find your session. We'll go through, after we do that kind of tour, which won't take me very long, we'll do a quick activity where we bookmark the Whova site on your desktop if you'd like. You don't have to. And then also talk you through the optional downloading of the app onto your phone so you can participate and engage more with your participants. We'll highlight some suggested Whova activities to do this week. Those are things, again, to kind of just improve your engagement with your audience and help the potential attendees understand what your session is and how to engage with it. And I know a couple of you will probably be called out as examples. Diane, I'm looking at you because you've done some great jobs already introducing yourself to our network and getting your name out there, and I appreciate that very much. And then the remainder of the time that we have, we'll just basically answer questions from you all about whatever has come up while we've done our presentation, as well as we can go into breakout rooms or just set up scheduling for follow-up calls for individual sessions. If, for example, in your session, you want to talk through certain content or certain engagement strategy with us individually, either Ada or myself or other presenters that you're presenting with, we'll give you the space to do that. And then we'll conclude with just a couple of reminders, and we'll have you on your way. All right, so I'm going to start with the introduction of EpicN, Zoom, and Whova. So to start with that, I just need to open that up. So I hope many of you know where our homepage is, epicn.org. There's a couple pages that I just want to make sure you're very familiar with as things are kind of moving around. One is the Who's in the Network page. This is our current membership map, more or less. There's always a few members coming and going on this page, but each of these blue dots are the members that basically make up the Epic Network year to year. So you can go ahead and take a look at that. We've had a lot of growth in Asia, for example. You can click around and find some stories of the programs there if you want to just do some background information about our network. We put all of our resources for members of our network in the member commons, and that's where much of our content resides. And I want you to just, again, be kind of clear for where this is in case you want to do background research or in case you're looking for something and can't find something. The first thing I'll point out is that the conference page is in this event section. And on that conference page, within the member commons, you'll have to log in to get here, is information about the conference and just some links that, again, if you get lost or you can't find the Whova app on your desktop, there's a link for it right here on this page. Last year, we didn't put this information out on the page, and I think it made some speakers last minute panic, and we had to help people last minute, which we're happy to do, and we're planning to be prepared to do. But we wanted to make sure that this link here is available to you. This link, this web app for registered participants, is where if you're using a computer, you will go and you will be able to find the Whova community, which is where all of the conference information resides. I'll come back to that in just a little bit. Back up to just a couple resources to highlight in the member commons. If you go through the courses page, you'll see a lot of recorded webinars and trainings. This Just Start training, for those of you who might be newer to the Epic network, there are videos here that describe what kind of is the backbone of our network, the Epic model, and what we suggest programs do to get started. So there's information there. There's a whole lot of other courses in here on lots of different subjects. If you're talking about a certain subject, you might want to scroll through here and see what others have talked about on the subject, just so you're not being redundant, or so you can refer to other people in the network, but that's all optional. We have less than a week. You all have busy schedules. Not expecting you to do that. Just wanted to let you know it's there. The other one I wanted to highlight is the project library. This is, I think, one of our most important resources that EpicN helps curate. It's a list of all the projects that have been completed, that we have record of, that our programs have shared with us, of projects that have been completed using the Epic model. You can use the different filters or these different pages to filter those projects by different SDGs, universities, university departments, local government partners, and their status. And so I just like calling this out. I think it's really important for you all to know that it exists. There's over 1,700 projects in here. I think it's closer to 1,800 or 1,900 now. Many of them have at least an abstract and some contact information, but many of them have a link to additional information. So just wanted to call that out. Last thing in here is that on our news page, there's some more recent news about other things in the network going on that might be just good, again, to glance at, so you kind of know what's going on in Epic Network. But that's it for my EpicN information and dive here. Feel free to create an account. Our membership is free at this time, and we want to make sure everyone who is passionate or wants to be a champion of EpicN can use this site to promote EpicN for other reasons. And many of you are already running a program, so if you aren't using the site, please do so more. We want to make it better, and your engagement there helps. So I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to move on to the next portion, which is how we're going to use Zoom for our sessions. Sounds good. So if you go to the gallery screen, and which is where you see all of our pictures, and you move your mouse around, down at the bottom, you'll see a menu. That menu of options is what we have available to you as participants. As session moderators and presenters, we do have the option to make you co-host, which will add certain menus to your screen. So Ada, I'm going to make you a co-host, so I don't have to make everyone a co-host, so you could describe what those functions are. And if anyone has a question about those functions, I can add you as co-host, so you can kind of see what those other options are for you in your session. The main thing I want to call out is that in every session, Ada or myself will be present, and we will be monitoring the chat. We will be setting up the recording, and we'll be monitoring participants. So if anyone's muted or unmuted, we'll mute them. We'll kind of manage any interruptions that come up that are not predictable or not just normal questions. And Ada, I think that's kind of my overview that I should go through real quick there. Ada, do you have any, can you list off the different buttons that you have available to you at the menu?
Yes, of course. So the main thing is share screen. As you all know, this allows you to show your screen on your computer and choose which window you want to show. In addition to this, you can pause or stop the recording and also start a recording. You can create breakout rooms for your attendees. And also you can have a live transcript option. I think everything else is available to all attendees. Marshall, if I'm forgetting anything, let me know.
No, I think that's it. And I just wanted to, again, reiterate that we'll be managing the recording unless you feel like you need to intervene. Feel free to kind of ignore that, as well as the breakout rooms. If you'd like to use breakout rooms for your session, please let us know ahead of time, and we can help you set that up while you're doing your opening remarks, so we don't have any false pauses like this one. um, any questions about Zoom and how we use it? We're mainly hoping that you all as panelists can show up, maybe share your screen, and just kind of do your presentation as we've discussed with you individually. But I want to see if you have any questions or concerns about the Zoom menu before we move on.
This is Joel. Ada, most people here know Zoom, but I was wondering, for those who don't, if you might show your screen and show where those things on the Zoom menu that you get through Whova are.
Yeah, that's a trick, Joel, because when you share your screen, it hides those menu items when you share your screen. So let me do exactly as you described, using the speaker guides from Whova, because they do a really great job of presenting all that information, including Zoom, which is kind of nice that Whova does that, since they're basically giving you instructions for 2 softwares at one time. So before I do that, Mazzy, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, in that case, in the case that they hide those menus, can you, in order to better answer Joel's question, take a screenshot and then you can show that on this video, that so others can still see it?
Smart. That is one way to do it. I will do that right now.
I can usually come up with 1 or 2 good ideas a year.
Thanks, Mazzy. So down here at the bottom, sorry for the pictures, everyone. Down here at the bottom, we have the different buttons: the pause, stop recording, breakout rooms, live transcript, and share screen. And then when you're sharing your screen, let's see here. That's going to be a trick as well. There it is. Sorry. So there's your menu when you're sharing your screen. So you can open up the chat, you can open up the participants, you can pause or share the recording, you can start a new share, which means like change the desktop window that's a focus. You can create polls, you can stop and start your video, stop, mute, unmute yourself. There's other options that are more, which are basically a written version of what is on your screen.
Okay, that was helpful, I think, I hope.
Oftentimes when I'm sharing my screen, I have a chat. I open up the chat and the participants, and I kind of drag them off to one side of my screen. They adjust their size sometimes, and that way I can at least keep track of, you know, who's asking questions, who's raised their hand, who put something in the chat, and who might be speaking without the mute button on, so I know who to call out as not muted. I do plan on showing you what it looks like to have Zoom going inside of Whova, because that is also an option for you. We will be sharing the Zoom link for your session with you as a calendar invite through Google Calendar. So that way you can just join the Zoom meeting without having all of the Whova things going on your screen at the same time. But some of you might want to participate as speakers through Whova, where the Zoom menu and everything within Zoom is within the Whova menu itself. So I'm going to show you that now. Okay, so in the attendee guide, they have a better image of what it looks like when you're trying to get in to the session. So when you're trying to get in to the session on the web portal, you're going to click on the agenda, and there will be this big black box when the Zoom link is on with that session, which I haven't done yet. I'm going to do it in the next day. When you click on that session, this black box will appear. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, sorry. And then you'll need to click on that proceed anyway button, and then it will create that video space or that Zoom window up on your screen. It'll look like this window here. So you'll see the same menu items exist within the Whova content. Sorry, trying to make it a little bit bigger here and blew up my screen. Zoom back out. Oh gosh. Sorry, everyone. Let me get to the part where it's there. 1 second. Okay, so here's what the Zoom menu would look like once you're in the session and it's integrated. It's a black screen. It's under agenda. On the right are the Zoom chat and community functions, or sorry, the Whova chat and community functions. And then inside of that black window, there are the participants menu, the share screen menu, and the chat menu within Zoom. As a speaker or panelist, you'll want to pay attention mainly to that Zoom menu so you can share your screen when you're ready and keep an eye on things, and just kind of focus on your presentation, on what you are doing. You can have these other windows up, or there will be a button here somewhere that will say view this as a Zoom meeting separately, in which case that we'll set that up so where if you want that option, you can just view it as a Zoom meeting like you're viewing this meeting right now. It's kind of up to your desires there. So that's kind of how Zoom and Whova work together. The benefit of putting chat and question and answer and things in this Whova section is that it will remain in the Whova platform following the completion of your session. So Ada and I will probably direct traffic to the Whova chat, but as speakers and panelists, we do not need you to worry about that. We, as session moderators and kind of observers and coordinators, will be monitoring those things. Any questions about Zoom? I'm going to move on to engaging with Whova and getting online, getting into the Whova space, which is difficult sometimes. All of you, I believe, have registered. I checked last night, so thank you for registering. Thank you for many of you have put in your bio information for your session. Appreciate that. Just as a reminder, I'm going to step through how you get from the EpicN website to the Whova space, and then from the Whova space to different places where you can engage with our attendees and help promote your sessions. So first thing you'll do if you're on our main website page is you'll need to go to the member commons, which is where the event page is, or you can just click events on that first page, events or the member commons page. You'll click on the 2022 Epic Network Conference event, and down here, the web app for registered participants is how you get to the Whova engagement software for the conference. And one thing I'll mention here is that I've sent an email to you with this link in it. It says Whova web app. So you can use that link too, but I just wanted to show you in case you can't find that email and you're trying to find it, you can go through those steps to get here if you're registered. You might need to change what profile you're using or what email you're logging into. And if you have any problems finding this site with all the information on it, just email Ada or myself, and we'll be able to provide that information for you. Within this space, the menus on the left. If you're on your phone, the menus look a little different. I suggest you look at the attendee guide for that information, which again you should have in your email, and you can find once you're in this space under resources. But the agenda has the sessions, and one of the most important things I would like for each of you to do is to go through each session and add it to your agenda. All this does is indicate to others that you are planning to attend the session. It has nothing to do with your speaking. It has nothing to do with your participation in the conference. All it does is it adds a number here on this attending, and it gives you the option of putting sessions that you want on your calendar, and it just helps us and others in the conference know that people are going to be attending the events. It's not necessary, it's just some feature within Whova, but I found it's helpful if people, especially the speakers of that session, go through and say they are attending that session. So that's one of the things I'll talk about is things you can do before the conference starts. Another thing to note is up here at the top, make sure when you're looking at this, it's at you're displaying it in your local time. You can switch it however you see fit. Right now it's in Central Time, so if you see times that look kind of funky, that's why. Under attendees, you can come, sorry, back up to the agenda. Under speakers, you can go ahead and kind of look through and see your profile. If you see something wrong with your profile, or if you want to change that information, you can do so. If you have any problems doing so, just let us know, and we'll get you the appropriate link for you to fill in that information. It's all zoomed in because of the earlier presentation. Sorry about that. Looking at the attendees, you can also take a look at, who's coming, and also kind of look through different categories that they have preset. If you want to try and find a group of folks, you can also, I think that's just additional information there, but you can also click on an individual profile. So Alana, not to pick on you, but you can click on a profile of an individual person. You can request permission to set up video calling with that person. If you want to set up calls through the Whova platform outside of the sessions going on, feel free to do so. That's a feature within Whova. And you can also just send them a message saying, hey, great to see you at this conference. Thanks for the great presentation, whatever makes sense there. That's generally the attendee section. There's not much other than that, but we highly encourage you to use it so that way you can build relationship with others in our network. In support of that goal as well, there's this community tab, and we've preset some topics in the community tab for you to engage with as you see fit. Organizers, Ada, myself, Kay, Nzime, Joel, we can send messages through here, kind of updating you on high-level session information. Important things to keep in mind, updates on recordings, resource links, that kind of thing. Meetups and virtual meets, this is a space for you all as participants to indicate if you want to set up a meeting outside of our scheduled programming. That's what this space is for. Please use it as such. You can also ask questions here or have your attendees, point your attendees to ask questions here. We'll be monitoring this topic area just to keep an eye on questions from attendees. Many of you have started to break the ice, and you can click on one of these icebreakers and see who's introduced themselves, and feel free to do so as well. Once you go through one of the icebreakers, you'll start to see others, and you can meet more people. And it's just again, a Whova engagement strategy that's baked into the system that makes it easy for people to start to get to know one another. We also have a space in here about sharing articles. Thank you, Snow, for putting in some articles already. Really appreciate that. And I encourage each of you as session presenters to do so. We have another section that you can do that within each of your sessions. Within your session, if you come in here as a speaker, there should be a button that says something like add resources. And Diane or Ada, I think you can help me talk through that one when we get done with this little brief thing. Some of you have added other topics. So how do you eat an elephant? Thank you. I think, Diane, you put that in there. I appreciate it. We'll hopefully get some folks answering the question. And if you want to draw attention to that, we can help you do that. I think you're doing that as a part of your session, maybe. I really like it. Thank you. I have a feeling I know where this is going, but at the same time, I have no idea. So I'm going to answer pretty soon to try and draw attention to it. And I hope other speakers will do something similar if you're trying to drum up engagement before your session. I do. I've been a part of conferences where folks do this, and it's really meaningful. So just let us know if you need some help getting attention to that post. We have another topic area for job openings, sharing moments about the conference if you'd like, and then listing any other conferences that you might be thinking about going to or want to coordinate about. In the past, those are just areas that our network have talked about, so we put those included in the community section. And then under messages, final note is that you can set up group chats or individual folks and set up messaging with them. For some reason, my messages from previous conferences and other conferences get pulled in. I don't know why that is, but that's just my personal thing. You won't be seeing those messages. So anyway, moving on. You can add photos. There's a leaderboard that kind of tracks your engagement and how many of these types of activities you're doing. So that kind of helps encourage our participants to be engaged. And at the end, we keep we keep an eye on who's in the lead, and at the end of the conference, we send some swag from EpicN to those who win, and give them some cred publicly in a message so they can have bragging rights. That's about it. Under resources, that's where you can add documents to your session, I believe. No, I still don't know where you add session documents. Ada, can you help me out here? Or Diane?
Yeah,
Wow.
so I've been just adding session documents through the admin page.
Gotcha.
So if you have session documents to share, just send it to either Marshall and I, and we'll add it to your session details.
Right. And in the link that you have been emailed as a speaker to update your profile and bio information, that also has a space for you to add documents, I believe, in that modal prompt. And if you haven't received that and you want to update stuff, that's again kind of what Ada and I will send to you. Thank you, Ada, for reminding me of that. So any questions about using Whova in general? Okay. Final, or not final, sorry. In my agenda, I'm now at suggested Whova activities to do this week. I've already kind of highlighted some of these already. Oh, sorry, I'm not at that step. I'm at bookmarking and app activity. So one thing I would like all of you to do right now is I would like each of you to go to the link that I'm about to put in chat, which is the actual web portal. And I want to make sure that each of you can actually open this on your computers. So go ahead and take a minute. I'm not going to talk. In the Zoom chat, there is a link to whova.com/portal/webapp/epicn. And I want to just see if all of you can actually open it. And once you can, if you can open it, I highly suggest you bookmark it. Because that way, again, it just makes it super easy for you to find the day of. And then after you bookmark it, I also suggest that you go on with your phone and look at your Android Play Store or your iPhone App Store, and you download the Whova site, and you put in, or you download the Whova app, I'm sorry. And when you search for event, you search for our name, and then you use the invitation code, which came through an email if you want it on your phone. If you don't want it on your phone because you want to avoid a lot of notifications, don't download it. But if you want to engage really meaningfully with your participants of your session and with the rest of the conference attendees, it's a really helpful tool to just have on your phone for the conference and then immediately delete it once our conference ends. Because it can be, again, kind of cumbersome. If you have problems finding the app for your phone, or if you're, have questions about it, just let me know. The main benefit I see is that it just helps you engage with attendees during the conference, and also with in particular the attendees with your session, if you have any, if you have folks who want to engage with you following your session, it's a nice way to kind of keep the conversation going. So bookmark the web app on your desktop, download the mobile app so you can engage with attendees. And then the other two things I want you to really think about doing, the first one is to make sure to go into that community page and just start, do the icebreaker, ask the organizer something, suggest a meetup, share an article, or just do something that helps get conversation going. Because the more conversation we get, the more likely your session will be well attended, and people will know who you are before you get there. And it'll just, again, create that better space and build that network that we're trying to build it with EpicN. And then finally is to consider doing some sort of social post about your experience. We use the hashtag EpicN in general, but we also use the hashtag for this event, hashtag 2020. And you can link to our actual event page if you'd like to do a social media post there. But those are the main things. That the social media post is kind of like icing on the cake. If you have any questions about this as you're preparing, the resource guides under resources within the session, within the conference app, either online or on your phone, the resource guides are extremely helpful. The Whova guides, I know I showcased a couple of them, but they're pretty comprehensive, and then their support site is also very comprehensive. So that's why I've kind of cut out a lot of those written documents and details, because they exist under those resource guides. So with all that, are there any questions from you all now that I've completed my talking points, because I don't have anything in the chat? So I'll just stop and let you ask questions. Yes, Julio, I have a session template. I just need to get it to you, but everyone else in your session has it already. My apologies. And I think, Julio, I think many of, we'll talk about it offline, but I think you're pretty good based on the slides I've seen from your program already. I'm responding to a chat message. Sorry, everyone. All right, hearing no question, is anyone in need of following up with Ada or myself about your session and questions that you have specifically about your session? Okay, well, I'll just take an extra minute of your time then to say thank you all for your time, for volunteering your time to put these presentations together. This is the reason the Epic Network exists. This is the sharing of our members is the reason why we started, and the reason why we've been able to catalyze over 1,800 projects across the country and the globe. And I really appreciate your efforts in doing it again this year, or joining us for the first time to help with that effort. This is for a little bit of institutional history, just to kind of add to the thank you. EPIGAN started informally in 2011. Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, or Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I think it was around 2011 they started their process of sharing about the EPIC model that was running at the University of Oregon. And in that sharing, it was through the interest and willingness of everyone in those sessions to share resources with one another that led to the formation of EPICN as a 501c3, and led to, again, additional programs starting all over the US, and then again in Africa, and now in Asia and in Latin America. And all of that, again, is catalyzing these amazing projects on the ground. And so I'm just very thankful for you all continuing that tradition within the network. And Alana, I see your message, and I'll respond in just a minute. Joel, anything to add to that? History, thanks.
No, not really. I mean, the incorporation as the network and the application for the C3 came much later than 2011. That wasn't until 2017, 2018. We got our first money from outside in 2018, I think. So anyway, look at it, we're about 10 plus years old, or about 4.5 or 5 years old. But yeah, the sharing is the essence of the whole network.
Thanks, Joel.
Marshall, let me ask you a question, which is a really stupid question, but other people might be puzzled by it. I want to update my speaker info on Whova, and I can't seem to find it on Whova. I've looked all over. Where is it on Whova?
Let me see here. So most likely you're going to go under
speaker guide.
Hold on just a second.
I think I found it actually. Profile, maybe my profile. Okay, fine. I found it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Stupid me. All right, great.
I think it's under. Did you find it under my stuff at the bottom of the menu?
Yeah, and there's Speaker Hub, and then the profile is under. Yeah, it's on the left. Other people as stupid as I am. All right.
So
Cool.
So yeah, on the menu down here at the bottom, there's my stuff. You can click it and then click profile or my agenda or speaker hub, and you'll have other options. But if you cannot find it, or if that does not work for you, because sometimes Whova is complicated, more complicated than it needs to be because it tries to do a lot of things, just email Ada and I. We can send you a URL link that will allow you to go into your profile specifically, I believe.
Yeah.
And I know I have a request from Ada and Diane to put you in a breakout room to work on that. So I'm going to do that really quick. Is that okay, Ada? Okay. And then Diane will take care of that for you. And then everyone else, if you have questions, I know Alana, you have a question, so I'll work with you for just a second. But everyone else, I just want to say thank you. We'll have another session, or our first session will be on Sunday in the afternoon Central Time, and we'll be kind of reviewing some content and highlighting some some recent resources that Ada has developed and some additional resources for newcomers who might not know the Epic Network to try and get them get them to know the Epic Network before they attend the conference on Monday. And then our first real session will be, you can see it all in the agenda. I'll stop there. Ada, you can go ahead and break out. I think the rooms are open for you. And then Alana, or if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to hang out, but I'm going to try and respond to Alana and everyone else. And if you are free to go, if you see fit, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks very much. This is great.
Marshall, quick question, Marshall.
Yeah, Megan.
On the Whova app, it asks
Yeah.
for our email and then our password. That's not the event invitation.
No, the invitation code is only when you're trying to like find the mobile app, or sorry, when you're trying to identify our conference mobile app against other conference mobile apps. And so
Okay.
your email and your password will be something you set up when you registered. And so I would just click the forgot my password. If there's a forgot my password button.
Yes, which
I
happens regularly. I can definitely.
Tell
Me
me
as
about
well.
it, sister.
The one thing that connects everyone in the world now is the forgot my password button, I think. And Christopher, I see your chat. Thank you for presenters. Yes, I would be happy to do a step-by-step process of what to do on the day of your session if you're a presenter. So if you're a presenter, feel free to hang out to the end of the meeting if you can, and we'll do a quick run through of that. I'll record it to make sure we have it in the recording. And if you can't hang out the rest of the meeting, then I'm going to try and post these recordings in the next day or so. As everyone else in the room are speakers or will be speakers, and we're just kind of running through on the day of your presentation, what would I do? Early on, like 6 hours before, or 2 hours before your session, or 12 hours, more, it'd be better if it was 24, but I know many of you have crazy calendars, is I would make sure you could open up the site, and I would make sure that when you go to your session, your information looks correct first and foremost. So Christopher, I think that your session is here. Like, make sure this information looks right. If this looks right, make sure you have added it to your agenda like that. You don't have to add it to your calendar. You can just say done and it's done. And then make sure that there will be a button up here that says like proceed to the Zoom session, and it'll be a big black screen. Just make sure that that's available to you. If all that looks good, the next thing I would do is go over to the community, and I would post something about your session, either in article sharing, the Sustainable Development Goals, break the ice, anything. I would put it somewhere, share your moments. I would put something about your session in here, just to draw everyone else's attention to your session. Also, I would go under, I'm not entirely sure where you do this as because I'm admin and you're not, but there should be a space under your session or under documents here where you should be able to or it's not under documents. It might be under Speaker Hub, where you can go in and add details, or sorry, you can add documents if you have any. If you have any resources or slideshows or documents you want to share with your attendees, try and find the menu where they are. If you can't find it, just email them to myself and Ada, and we will put them in with your session. So for example, here's an example of what that looks like. Diane Cox emailed one of our speakers on the final day, emailed Ada a bunch of documents, and you can see the handouts here. This is how they present themselves. So if you have handouts of any kind as a speaker, just email them to Ada and myself is probably the easiest thing to do. I think all of you have our emails. If you don't, my email again will be in the slideshow that I linked, and I can also, you should have it from the calendar invite. And then after you do those things, then again, you'll come to this session, and I'm going to open up the resource guide again because it has the best picture of what it will look like. Here it is, the attendee guide. When you click on agenda and you click on your session in the computer desktop, it will look like this black screen here, and it will say, warning, this session will start blah, blah, blah. Proceed anyway, and you'll say yes if it's not already running. It might already be running. The meeting might already be showing. If it's not showing, press proceed anyway. Maybe show up 5 or 10 minutes early. Most likely it will be the same Zoom link from the session before, so you might be catching the last bits of the last meeting, but do try and show up a little bit early so that way it puts Ada and myself at ease that you're here. We can do a sound check with you real quick before we start in a breakout room, or just kind of get things going, or we'll just chat you to see if everything feels right. And once you press go, the meeting will look something like this. You'll have the option. There will be a button here that's not on this screen that will allow you to open the Zoom menu just like you're in right now without all this Whova stuff around it. But you don't have to press it. If you are comfortable using the Whova app like this, you will have the same buttons that you see here and that you will need to do your presentation, a share screen, a chat, a participant list. Mute, unmute. And then during the session, while you're going through your talking points, Ada and I will be monitoring the chat and the session Q&A both in Zoom and on Whova, so you can kind of ignore it, and we'll bring it up when it's relevant, if it's relevant before Q&A, and then when we get to Q&A, we will prompt you on the Q&A if you'd like, if you're kind of summing up your thoughts. We'll be working on getting that first question kind of elevated and thinking about what one we want to prompt to you. You don't have to, you can cut us off after the first one and just answer them as you like, but that's our plan in order to support you. The final, I forgot one step that you might do soon, and that is, some of you don't have this yet, others of you do have this, is that we are putting together session planning documents for each of our events, and we'll be sharing them with our panelists and our speakers, so you can kind of have everything all in one place just in case. So for example, we're going to be putting in the Zoom links into this document. We're going to be putting the other speakers and their emails in this document. We have a short blurb about what the session is. We have a detailed agenda of how we think things are going to go. We might not publish this agenda, but we want to share it with you or communicate it with you. So there should be one, Christopher, that you've been shared by Ada for your session. And then Anne and Dan, all right, and Snow and Liz, you should have also had yours shared because Ada's in charge of your session. I unfortunately a little bit more behind due to some family illness. So I'll work on getting your session descriptions, Dan and Anne, as soon as I possibly can.
I have a specific question. I don't know to which of us it might apply, but it certainly applies to me. I'm in one of the sessions, as you know, with former partner, whether they're electeds or city staff, as you know, because we've spent a lot of time working on that. And is mine basically of the same nature as these, or like, am I running the session? Or are you running the session? Should I do exactly what you said here, or should I do something different?
So Anne and Dan, your session will be a little bit different in that there will be a public website page as well that I have yet to create that will have the description of your sessions that you can more publicly share. And it will also have the same Zoom link information for people to join if they register just for that event. So that's the one difference, is that we are going to open those ones up to the general public without them registering for the Whova app, because we have a lot of EPA contacts that are going to want to go, or we think that they're going to want to go. Again, I should have had that event up earlier. And but other than that, everything else is the same. You could just join the Zoom link and not go through the Whova menu, or you could go through the Whova menu as you see fit. And then I'll be moderating the resilience webinar series like I've done in the past. So I'll do the intro, I'll prepare, the talking points. It'll be the same script as the previous versions of it, where it's basically, there's this great story from Apache Junction, and Liz and Julia are presenting. I'll just kind of ask them some questions about their thing. They may have created slides, they may have not, and we'll talk it through. Dan, yours is going to go like one and then the other. So that's going to be the only kind of weird part, is you're going to get like 2 features in one session. But
Okay. And then as far as the PowerPoint or the slides that Ann and I are doing, because our partners might be creating some slides, and I just can't remember, we put them all in the same, it makes sense, of course, to put them all in the same presentation, but I just can't remember how to coordinate that. It's been too long.
yeah, no, it's my fault. I
No.
need to send over the slide decks to your team. So I'll probably create separate ones for each team of yours, Dan, and then Ann, you'll get one.
Okay, so it'll be on Google Slides, so we can just add stuff into the Google Slides. Okay, great.
If you need to. If not, no big deal.
Okay.
Christopher, I gave you the wrong link, so let me get the right link for you. I mean, that one should work if someone clicks on it and they're not registered, but it's better to give them the registration link. So 1 second.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's see here. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Christopher, for your kind note. I know I miss everyone seeing and talking to everyone, but everyone's so darn busy at the end of the academic year that it's impossible to get everyone in the room anyway. Anyway, Snow, any questions from South Africa?
No, I'm good. You've covered everything that I needed to know so far.
Woohoo! Whenever you have additional students who you want to be featured as speakers, just make sure you send their names and emails to Ada so she can get them populated, and CC me just in case. Sometimes I work in the evenings and she works in the mornings, so between the two of us, we're kind of always working on this. So I want to make sure that the students in your sessions are getting kind of, the recognition of answering questions and doing the presentation.
Oh, okay. Oh, I want to know, since I sent my presentation to Ada, will I be sharing it myself on the day?
It's up to you. It's totally up to you on whether or not you want to do it, or if you want to ask Ada to do it and just tell her next slide when you're ready to transition. Ada will be comfortable doing that, and I'm comfortable doing that as well. So we want to make it as easy for you as possible, whichever preference that is.
Oh, okay, no, I understand. Thank you.
And we're also kind of informal as a network, so we're okay with people saying, next slide, please.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, one more question. Will I also have to email her my students' presentations?
That's again for just in case, for emergency sake, like in case one of the students their computer drops but their audio still works. I think that's helpful, but also if it doesn't happen, that's okay. Thanks, Christopher. We'll see you later. if you can, it'd be great. Or you can just upload it to the folder that you created and shared with you. You can just upload it to that folder if you don't want to email or waste your time emailing or drafting emails.
Okay, cool. That's all I needed to know.
Really looking forward to your session, by the way. I have to stay up until midnight and then start the meeting, but I'm actually like super excited. So I'm like really excited. I'm like not even thinking about having to stay up because I just really want to hear about what your students have done and what you've done, because Zime has taken all those meetings from me, so I don't get to talk to you or and hear about those stories as much.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm a little bit nervous about the whole conference. I was just telling Ada that I have such stage fright, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about what everybody's been doing and everything.
Yeah, well, you'll be alongside like 8 other people, so you'll be among friends presenting.
At least it's online.
Yes, and do what you feel comfortable with your camera. Do what you feel comfortable with, like, again, with the presentation. We're a network of individuals, and we're all different, and that's what makes us great.
Oh, thanks for the message, Daniel.
Liz, any questions from you?
No, I don't think it seems pretty straightforward.
Until the day of, right?
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I think Ada and you and Diane have done a really good job prepping. So if you have any other questions, just reach out, please. But I'm really excited also for your content. I think I've already discussed this with you a little bit, and that I think everyone needs it.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't need to take anyone else's time or any more of your time, but if you have other questions, please feel free to ask them. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening, wonderful rest of your afternoon, and wonderful rest of your morning for me and Dan and Ann.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
We'll see you at the
Bye.
first session. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone. And thanks for those of you session moderators or presenters who aren't here who watched the recording. Appreciate you. And if you have any questions, let me know.